So thank you everyone for coming, and I know this is kind of a backwards way of doing an event on a wedding, is to hold speeches or time before the wedding, but to me that this will be the most important part of the day, is us with our community. And what we really want to do today is just kind of share with you guys what you mean to us, and what you know will be in our lives. And if you want to share anything back, wish us well or whatever, that's why we have some beverages to toast with. And I know it kind of stretches the whole day out with the wedding and reception at 5, but I'm told some cultures they go for a week with a wedding. So in perspective, we're treating you, kindly today. So to make it all the way to the reception, there will be, plenty of good beverages to drink, especially on the wine side. I've got a 13-year-old tree leader of Red Mountain Fruit that will be there. My dad's bringing a couple bottles of Lamb for all of you.
There you go.
So it'll be worth the stand. I'm sure the Barnetts can have the Huskies and Ducks on the television.
Whatever, it's your day.
Okay. For anybody.
We're watching the Seahawks tomorrow.
Yeah, we are watching.
And our house gets to spend the night. That was a surprise.
So we don't have any real total script to this, so we'll kind of see how it goes. But Tracy's going to kind of explain what this runner thing is.
Yeah, so Christy and Allison. Okay, so this runner is the gift of, you guys have to wave your hands. These are two of the young women that I facilitated a group at Bethany Community Church. God just brought us together because I was not even supposed to be with them, and He just orchestrated this beautiful relationship where we've met every Tuesday night for, how long has it been? It'll be in numbers, over a year. And we were challenged as to what to do with the room, and I had rented this arch that was so ugly. And I met with them on Tuesday and was like, what do we do with this? And instead what they did, I'm going to cry, was this is our vows. So we haven't even really read them yet, or each other's vows yet. And it's what we said to each other, said to them that we meant to each other. And they actually spent days writing by hand these our words to each other, our vows, so that we could stand upon the promises that we're making to each other today. So to you, I love you. I don't have waterproof mascara. So dumb. I have some in I love you ladies with all my heart. You have been such a gift to me. When my own daughters were not around because they were gone by distance, you became like daughters to me. You have loved me so well, and so to you ladies, I just want to say cheers.
I mean, obviously, our thanks to our families for being here, and as Tracy mentioned, we have 4 of our 5 kids live out of town, so that makes it tough for people to be here. And I was lucky enough that my daughter Katie will be here for the wedding because she lives here, and Tracy was feeling bad that she was left without one of her daughters being here, and unbeknownst to her for the last month, Holly and I have been planning her arrival last night, so you can go on Facebook and see the video of
total surprise. I thought he was getting a tattoo or something. Instead he was picking Holly up at the airport.
So you can click on the video and see her open the hotel room door and go into tears quickly.
And say, I thought you were getting a tattoo.
Will there be a video of you getting a tattoo?
I think that's
Yeah, I'm waiting. The mother of the bride, I would like to say, no, I'm going to that Tracy was the third in line, and I totally ignored her, and she turned out just beautiful.
Oh, Mom.
You didn't totally ignore it.
Yes, my baby forever.
Very nice. So we're just just gonna kind of be random, and so you can be random as well, and I just, to Jim and Darcy, as I've told Tracy here lately, no one outside of family has ever loved me as much as the two of you. And so you are my best friends in the whole world, and have been, Darcy, you were the support and inspiration to really get me writing, and you were both the inspiration behind the Third Thursday and helping that get going, of which the majority of this crowd here exists because of that. And so, but truly, no one has ever showed me more than my family love more than you guys have. So I raise my glass to the two of you. So.
Do you have some of that mascara?
And you've included me beautifully in your lives.
So, and if we had a video where you could show videos, Jim and Darcy sent a very hilarious video.
Is it helium?
That
One of many.
was
You'll get more.
So singing a song through a helium app with these Disneyland voices, proving they have no shame in it, and it was wonderful. So and we
What
did.
was the song?
What?
What was the
Oh,
song?
it's a classic.
It was a remake of I Can See Clearly.
Yeah, it's a classic.
There's their own cover of that. And mentioned Third Thursday with a group of people that started meeting over 6 years ago, once a month, every month since then. And I think this side of the room is filled with a lot of that. And it's, the fact, I just spell on the run, right? Probably. Your support, especially to me through, no? I don't talk with my hands a lot. So your support to me through trials and the journey over the last few years has been immeasurable, and you guys were kind of the first people I turned to a couple of years ago, and all of that love and support was amazing, and just the fact that one night a month, every month, people gather together just for no other reason besides just getting together. So to all of you. And Dave, who's doing our service tonight, and him and Laura opening up their house to the reception tonight and helping to plan that and everything. So you guys have just been so amazing, and thank you for that. And to especially all the Third Thursday women there who have taken on Tracy as she came new into the group a little over a year and a half ago, and you guys have loved her dearly and made her feel so much a part. So thank you for that.
Which isn't hard.
No, I do need to say the Third Thursday group, you've been such a part of Jim's life, such a part of who he is, and I didn't know the first night I went how that was all going to work out, to be the fact that you would be, you ladies would be some of my very best friends. Like, I feel like I've known you forever, and just the ways that you have so lavishly loved me and accepted me as part of that group just means the world to me. So we're glad you're to you, ladies, and men accepted me too.
Can I say something as a representative? Well, not representing the group, but as a person who's part of the Third Thursday.
Speak loudly so we.
My name is.
No problem doing.
Thank you. My name is Jeff, and my wife Susie, and we stumbled into Third Thursday before we had drunk anything. we stumbled into third Thursday, I don't know, it's how many years? I'm trying to remember, it's been a few years.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
And literally, just because some other folks invited us. And let me just cut to the quick. The other night was third Thursday again. And we were all outside having a cigar together. And there was such a joy amongst all of us and happiness for you guys. And the thing that I told Susie afterwards, I said, you know, what goes around comes around. Jim has created this group, this situation, this event, and it's been true not only to it, but to all of us, and this has come around to him. And we were so happy and joyous for you too. So thank you for creating that group, whatever you call it. Community. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Come on, wrap it up. Strong in.
Rock close.
Is that through it?
Yeah.
And
I'm doing really well for me.
that's good. Laughter can change things. I got a text from my brother saying that him and Patty, his wife, are going to Hawaii, and they have this timeshare week, and they had invited their son and his wife to come with them and share the week. And his son and daughter-in-law couldn't make it, and would Tracy and I want to go. And unbeknownst to him, Tracy had never been to Hawaii before, and it just happened to be the week after we had decided to get married, which I don't know if we had announced a date yet. So God had kind of placed this moment in the perfect timing that would make it just right to go. And so we do leave next Sunday for that. And then my parents said, well, you know, if you want to go to that for your wedding present, we will fly you over there. And so God just orchestrated a wonderful honeymoon out of things. So Mom and Dad and Les and Patty, thank you. That will be a great time. And and Andy, I want to thank you for my sister Ann, who's over here, was hosting my parents' 60th birthday party, which was somewhat Tracy's coming out party to my extended family of cousins and things. And on this side of the family, the Hamiltons were very, very close, and the cousins and very important to us. And so Tracy came to actually get to meet everyone, and my sister is part of the what do you call it, the ringleader of the social circle for cousins and things, and having Tracy come there and kind of be a part of that was almost a Corleone blessing to, I think, the rest of the family, and your support of Tracy over time has been wonderful, and she's really appreciated that.
Even as a non-blood.
Even as a non.
And so, thank you for that. And I'm going to tell a couple Tracy stories today, even one in my vows, but she is. And as she walked in that night, because no one knew who was knocking at the door really, and I happened to be standing by one of my cousins, and so Tracy walked in and Ann greeted her, and so my cousin figured out, well, that must be Tracy, and she just almost, with a slight little gasp, said, wow, she's beautiful. And I don't know if she meant to say it out loud or not. So that was a special night, but just kind of thank you for kind of all you've done, including Tracy, to be family there. So.
Yeah, I need to say to your family, you guys have, Leo, you've taken the place of my dad. I can't laugh. You've been a dad to me this past year when I've missed him. And you remind me of him and you smell like him. All of those things, and I'm smell oriented, so those things bring back memories to me. And Faye, you have been so gracious and loving and supportive of me. And when I was at that family dinner and I was freaking out because I was meeting his children and I was so nervous. You were just like, dear, come over here with me. We're going downstairs. It's like the only time you've let me help you at a meal. You so graciously loved me. I mean, you guys, Les, Patty, Annie, you just have all been so inviting me in, making me feel like I belong. Making me feel like
it's been so easy.
Thank you. Well, I love you all.
Don't forget your non-blood.
Oh, non-blood?
Non-blood.
So we sit
Go
in the beds
sister.
together and talk about being non-blood. Yeah, Patty, non-blood. Here's to non-blood. Because these people care about blood.
A little too much, I think, maybe. We'll get them.
We're working our way around the room.
I'm Tracy's sister Sue, and I didn't plan anything to say, but I just wanted to say that we've been through everything together, and it's an honor to be here today, and I love you, and I don't know anybody who deserves happiness more, so I wish you both all happiness.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And on that note, we should, I'm Paul Johnson, this is my wife Chris, we were talking about what to maybe bring up this afternoon, and we'd be remiss without bringing up Windfire Moment. And as you think about the encouragement, Jim, that you provide for, I'm sure, a lot of people in this room, I think a toast would be in order that the two of you together, as you join as one, can encourage each other, and then keep encouraging us too. Along the way. Those have been so inspirational, and as you go back and look at what's read there in John, it's an interesting conversation with Nicodemus. And there's this concept of born again in there, wrapped in there, and then what does that look like? And you've certainly lifted our spirits through time, and our toast and our prayer for you two would be that God blesses you, the two of you, with that same encouragement, and that you keep encouraging each other. So, cheers to Windfire.
And that's how we met.
That's how we met.
Tracy, could I say one thing about my oldest son?
Sure.
I spent a lot of time with Holly when she was a little tiny girl, because she stayed with us a lot. And I would read her a story, and I kind of nod off, and she would say something, and she'd say, no, that's not what that says, baby. You've got to read it right, or don't read it. She did.
Tracy, you better tell the Windfire Moment story for those.
Yeah, I want to hear this story.
Are you telling me So, I had met some friends, the Catteralls. They weren't even, I actually went out online to find a group that was studying a book called The Cure, that Sarah had told me about The Cure, and I wanted to, and my daughter Callan had told me about it, and I wanted to do a book study. And I didn't know anyone doing it, so I went out on the internet and just started searching for people that were doing it. And Andy and Colleen Catterall, I found them online and wrote them and said, you don't know me from anyone, but I want to study this book, and would you guys be studying it with me? And we met and became dear friends and started doing this book study. And Colleen said the first day she met me, she knew she needed to connect me to Jim and his Windfire Moments. But she said, I just was so overwhelmed at the responsibility involved in connecting you, because I knew when I connected you guys, it was done from there. So she said, I just waited, and then she ended up sending me a Windfire Moment called The Empty Stocking. That was just what I needed to hear. I was facing, I've had a Christmas, I've been married twice before, I've had 2 husbands leave, but this was my first Christmas without any children. So it was really my first Christmas all alone. And I just wanted Christmas to go by and be done with it. It just didn't, I didn't want to deal with it. And she sent me this writing that this man named Jim Rostello had written called The Empty Stocking. That was about Christ filling his stocking, filling his heart, filling his life, and that it was something to be celebrated on his first Christmas alone. And I read this piece, and it was like someone was speaking directly to me about what I was going through. And it changed my Christmas. I went out and bought all the candy. You talked in there about buying candy for Jesus and filling the stocking. I went out and did it. I went to church that night. I had such a difference. So I read this piece, and I knew that someone understood me, and I knew that Christmas could actually be delighted in and celebrated. So my dad had passed away, and I had promised myself that I was going to affirm people for what they did for me. I wasn't going to just think it, I was going to say it. So I said, I need to write this man and tell him how he changed my Christmas with this writing. And so I wrote him and just thanked him for what he had said and what difference it made to me, and that through him he had helped me fill my empty stocking through his words. And so that was the beginning of, then you invited me for dinner and to get to know each other, and that was the beginning of it all. So Windfire Moment truly was the thing that brought us together.
That was the worst Christmas ever.
I know, it wasn't awful. Well, it was awful until
It was awful for all of us individually.
it was hard.
Actually, Tracy's younger daughter said to me, she came for Christmas, and she said, I spent every Christmas in this house with you.
Yeah.
That was not
She was
the
gone.
big-
I was gone, yeah. I mean, it's a team.
But it new. She was over, give me a
Well, I was actually the recipient of the leftovers from that dinner. So you won me right there.
You won her on some raw
Oh,
brownies.
yeah.
Can you see him again?
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Real soon. But Tracy and I have been friends for 5 years, and just an immediate bond. And whenever we go places, they ask if we're sisters, which is a benefit for me. I love you so much. We do crazy things together, like watch indie films.
I had my first whiskey with you.
Oh, that's right, The Angels Share.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. Anyway, we see movies all the time together and just get the blessing of hanging out. And as I'm sitting here listening to everyone, I feel like when you mentioned that you made us sound like your dad, I feel like that was a flash forward to the future of you two just sitting around more like this age. And that anyone that meets either one of you becomes an instant friend. And so I don't really know hardly anyone here, but I feel like it's family. So, love you much.
Barb was my Friday night date. So Barb walked into a small group that my second husband and I were running, and we became dear friends. And then when I was living alone, I ended up moving around the block from Barb.
Best time ever.
Best time ever. Seeing the city, going out, just, you were my Friday night date. I always had a date on Friday night.
Me too.
I know, well, I still probably do because he works most of the time.
I love it.
But Barb got me through a lot. Yeah, there's so many of you in this room. So many of you in this room just got both of us through such challenging times. And we wouldn't be here today with hope in our hearts and joy and a sense of God being able to restore all things if it wasn't for all of you. So truly, everybody here, I mean, there's not enough words to say to thank you all for what you've done for us. But, my best friend, thank you.
Moving everything. I was like, wow.
Tracy was moving everything, packing days when I wasn't there, and I was over at my family's house one afternoon, and because Tracy, I think, had come by during that moving weekend. It was 4th of July, I think, and all that.
I was moving.
And she was moving too, but she's still doing all this. And my brother kind of asked me about Tracy and were things serious, and I said, well, I was hesitant on committals at that state of my life. And my brother said, "Hey, brother, nobody helps a guy move as much as she's been helping you without this being a serious thing, so you better be thinking about that."
I think I said the same thing.
Jim, I think we all said the same thing.
I know I said it. Well, did I interrupt you?
No.
So at the back of the room are Brent and Cindy Christie, who are dear friends from back in the day. Brent's been to Rwanda with us. You were the first board member of Rwanda Partners. You fought for me and for what mattered to me at a time when nobody else felt like they were fighting for it. You stood up and you said the right things and you loved me well through it. And you have always been my example of class and hospitality. And then I met Jim and I kept saying to Jim, "Oh, you've got to meet my friend Brent. Like, you guys would be so good with each other." And then you met with Jim and talked through just life and hopes and dreams. And so you've meant the world to me, and I think more than you know. Just fighting for me and standing up for me just meant everything. So here's to you, Brent. Love you.
Well, you've taken me to places in the world that I never thought.
That's true for
You
both.
sat in the corner with this map and pins around Africa, and I go, what is that all about? And, I just didn't know what I was doing with at-risk youth, and then God knew that I'd ever end up in Rwanda. So that was the longest flight of my life.
38 hours, Keith.
Yeah, but the greatest experience of my life too. I had to observe Dean and Sarah how they strapped themselves in and bandanas head around the seat of the plane to fall asleep.
So Brent, she's told me to get my passport in order.
Yeah.
Should I be afraid?
He's going to Rwanda.
Yeah, you'll go to
Very afraid.
yeah, walk into prisons where you never thought you'd be.
Yeah, one of my best moments with you is watching you go out in the middle of a prison that how many thousands of prisoners were there? Genocide heirs. You just jumped down in and started dancing. That was where my book title was going to come from. I was going to write a memoir called Dancing with Killers. And it was you down on the floor that invited me, and then I got down on the floor and danced with those men.
Yeah.
And we danced like it was the most beautiful celebration in heaven.
Yeah.
It was in the midst of a prison.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. Powerful.
That was I didn't know where I was or what I was doing, but
Well, none of us did.
thank God you did.
Yeah.
That was a powerful experience. So, you've made me do things I never thought I would do.
Okay. So to my family, you guys are mean the world to me. Mom, you showed me through what you've gone through in your life. Back in the early days even, your life has been an example to me of what it means to be strong and what it means to survive. And I've said to Holly and Callan many times, we're survivors. Dee Dee's been through so much. Look at where she's at. We're survivors. So you taught us what it meant to walk through suffering with grace and hope. And I'm grateful for everything you've done for me. And just that beautiful example you set to me of what it means to be strong. Sue, you have just been, you're muttering over there, stop muttering. I love you. I love that we can get frustrated with each other, love each other, cry, hug, all in with about 20 seconds of a phone call. And you've been there for me all along. You're stronger than you know. And it's been beautiful to watch you become who God has created you to be, especially in the last few years as a result of this man, Keith, loving you so well. And I'm just so grateful for the two of you. And you've always made me feel a very special part of your lives. And Omar, I love you for loving my mother so well and for being there for her at a time that's been really hard for her. So you've been her constant companion, and it's good to know she's well taken care of. At one point, I wasn't quite so sure how things were going to go because she was in a really hard place. And I was in a really hard place at the same time. So you have been beautifully caretaking of her, and I'm grateful for that. So here's to that part of the family. And to you, my firstborn. These two surprised me. I had no idea she was coming. I have a bouquet with holly stuck in it because I wanted to represent holly. It's got holly and calla lilies because my daughters weren't going to be able to be here with me. And I had no idea that they had been plotting for a month for Holly to show up last night at my hotel room door, where I truly thought you were getting a tattoo. Like, where is he? What takes an hour and a half wedding things? He's not even getting a tattoo with my name on it. No, he was getting that child of mine that is forever tattooed on my heart. That is a part of who I am. We have been through so, I want to swear, really much together. You and I love you. I love your sister. You guys, I would sleep on your floor at night. The three of us made it through. I wouldn't be where I am. There was a point at which I just said, I just want to die. Like life is too effing painful. And I only made it through because I had you and Callan, and I couldn't take myself out. I had to fight because of you. So I love you. I love you so much. You are my heart and my love. And thank you for surprising me. So Holly, read it. Tracy, here's to you. I don't either. It's ridiculous. Hey, it's happy if I could.
Okay, well, I hate public speaking like more than anything. But along those same lines, when my second family was falling apart, it was really hard to be all the way up in Texas and know that Mom was just here by herself, and like Callan was here for part of it, and then Callan even left, and I was too broke to come out, and I felt so upset that there was no one here to take care of her. So it's really great to meet all of these people here because I didn't think she had any family, and I guess she actually
Surprise!
So maybe it wasn't so bad. But it's really special to get to know all these people here and to know that you have so much love in your life. And it's great to get to know you a little better too, Jim, and seeing the way you love my mom is the most special thing I could have asked for. So.
It's the easy part.
So I'm glad to have you be a part of our new family.
Crazy family.
Because it just keeps growing.
I know. She
Yes,
is.
and I'll be honored to have you in my life. You know, at least one dad will be there.
One of three downstairs.
A very special friendship, and we consider you one of our best. And Tracy, as long as there might be a little swearing now and then, you and I will be forever friends.
I'm getting everyone on board.
I said it all morning long, so I wouldn't say it.
I responded to some of Jim's windfire moments with maybe just a few.
Little color.
They were very special to me. So anyway, very hard to say it all here, but this is a very cool thing. I'm so happy that you are together. It's bless you both.
I know Tracy has to get ready, so I don't want to miss my chance to say something about Jim and Tracy. So people ask me sometimes, how long have you and Jim known each other? And I say we've known each other 34 years, but Jim only remembers half of that. Which is actually true. So the story is, for those of you who don't know it, Jim graduated from Interlake High School in 1980, and I graduated from Juanita High School in 1980. And so we both went to college prep week up at Malibu the same week. And we ended up at a table together where Jim was across the table. And I'd never met him before, but we went around the table and introduced ourselves. And I could not stop watching this guy. I could not stop listening to him. There was just something about him that was very attractive. And I mean that totally in a platonic way. But you, those of you, we all know what I'm talking about. There was just something magnetic about him. There was, even at that age, at 18 years of age, there was something magnetic. There was something, this is a guy who knew who he was. This is a guy that was unbelievably authentic. This is a guy in the midst of high schoolers was exactly who he was. And I was just extremely attracted to that. And so in that short meeting, I just thought, I would love to be friends with this guy. But you know, you don't become friends. And then I went away from Malibu, and then it was like God wanted us to be friends. Excuse me? It's like God wanted us to be friends, but not then. Because I would see him, like every 3 or 4 years, I would see him, like across a concert. I'd go, hey, that's that guy from Malibu. And this would happen again and again and again. And over a course of 17 years, it probably happened 5 or 6 times. But it was never at a point where I could go up and engage with him. And then finally, we connected through business. Leo and Jim and I connected through business. And somehow, and I remember this so distinctly, we ended up at Echo Falls Golf Course. And we were playing golf together. And we were on hole number 17. And Jim and I were tied, right? And I just, for whatever reason, I looked over at him with this challenge in my eyes, right? And he looked back with the same challenge. We didn't even say anything. It was just all in the eyes. And it was like, game on, you know, here we go, you know. And there was something in that moment where I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to become one of my greatest friends ever. And not a friend where he'll be a good friend for a while, but I just knew in that moment that he would become a forever friend. And then over the course of the years, we discovered we're both these schizophrenic guys who love talking Seahawks and golf, but we also love talking about the intricacies of Meg Ryan and You've Got Mail, right? We've got this, we love Braveheart, but we also love romantic movies. And so this incredible friendship was born. And we did ministry together and business together, and it's just been this incredible forever friend gift. And then Tracy comes along. And you and I sit down. I don't remember this. If you remember this,
I
you
remember it very
On the
well.
porch?
No, at a TTB.
Yeah.
And we had this very open, honest conversation and about you.
In the living room of the Barnetts.
Yeah, in the living room of the Barnetts. And I said, Tracy, men do not come more solid than Jim Rousseau. And then I went home and I told Darcy, year and a half. This is happening. So
he called it that night.
So we are just so thrilled.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jim, that conversation with the two of you, Jim and Darcy, helped me trust him at a time that I wanted to trust him, but I was really afraid to. So you guys helped me, Jeff, a couple times. You guys have all really helped me because I loved this man, and he loved me, he just didn't know it yet. Or he didn't expressing it yet, and I was so nervous about what I was feeling. And that conversation, I have gone back to it many times saying, I can trust him. He's solid. He's been solid for all these years he's known them. I can trust him. Because that's, I think, my biggest fear is, am I going to be fooled? And so that was the most loving thing you could do for me and for us as a couple. So thank you for that. Talking me down off the wall. Because I need to say, Joe and Derek, I know I need to go get ready, but Joe and Derek back here, we're good friends. I got to know them briefly as my second marriage was ending. And then they became their community group friends from church, just solid as a rock. Your relationship with each other showed me that it's possible to be happy and honest and happy. And your transparency, Joe, you helped me to be free to communicate what I was feeling when I was such a mess. And I was so angry and I was so hurt. And yet I had so many longings in my heart. And you always made me feel like I could just be.
It was all F-bombs.
Okay. you guys would get a long way. But you just always made me feel loved and protected and safe and like I was going to make it through. And those were really hard days, and I'm just so grateful for you, and I so wanted you to get to know Jim and be a part of our lives together. So I just didn't want to end without raising my glass to the two of you and your love and the whole Grace family that you're representing